Hey everyone, Dr. Charlie Johnson, physical therapist, and today I'm going to talk about how you can use this concept of like a clock and sort of what it represents and what it looks like to help you solve your back pain. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about specific types of back pain, but rather a concept that you can start to apply, try it out, and see what happens. Obviously, if you have questions, you can comment below. So if you have lower back pain, what does a clock have to do with healing your back pain naturally? So here we go, here's a clock, or my best drawing of it. And what are the big sort of crosshairs, if you will, right? So you have 12, you have 6, you have 3, and you have 9. Don't worry about the times. Just get that there are sort of these major landmarks or time blocks, if you will, right? So, you know, my father was in the military, so he would, and I know they still do use time to sort of explain where maybe an enemy might be, right, or something like that. So, so-and-so at 6 o'clock or something like that, right? Anyway, point is it starts with these big numbers, 6, 9, 12, and 3, right? And what this would represent as with regards to back pain and the human body and how it moves is this. So consider now that this circle is your head, all right? Meaning like you had a helicopter flying over top of you, it would see this, right? Here would be like your nose, your eyeballs would be somewhere here, here would be the back of your head, here would be, I have no idea how to draw them, these would be your ears, right? So the point is that this clock from above and these big sort of numbers, the 6 and 12, which are obviously opposite, the 9 and 3, would sort of split your head like crosshairs if you were flying over top and looking from above. Now, what this represents is that the body can move sort of in various ways, right? So let's just say, now let's zoom out and let's blow this crosshair up such that your head is here and you're facing this way. All right, so you're facing this way. There'll be your nose, right? And you can move and bend forward, right? So you can go this way, and this will be touching your toes, all right? Bending backwards with your hands on your hips would be towards the 6 o'clock, right? Bending to the left would be to the 9 o'clock. Bending to the right will be to the 3 o'clock. So those are sort of the two major planes of movement, if you will, in the lower back. Obviously, you can move more than that, and that's where the other times come in, right? But it's either you're bending forward, right? You're bending back. So this is 12 o'clock, this is 6 o'clock, this is 3 o'clock, and this would be 9 o'clock. And it corresponds to the clock. Now, within that, there are other movements. So you can do combined motions, right? You can sort of bend forward and down to the right. You could bend forward, down to the left. You could arch back and to the right into this sort of this quadrant or this corner. You could back down, bend backwards and arch into the back left corner, right? So, and then, I don't know, maybe this is 130 or something like that, all right? It doesn't really matter, just get that you can move into sort of all these times or into all these positions, if you will, right? And the possibilities are endless. Now, where to start with this and how to relate this to your back pain is you're going to start with a super simple approach. So you're going to start with just the possibility of these 4 motions, all right? So bending forward, bending backwards, bending to the left, and bending to the right. Now, what you need to do before you start anything is you need to get a baseline. So you need to be standing, you need to be asking yourself, well, what am I feeling? So what am I feeling in my lower back? Am I feeling anything in the buttock? Am I feeling anything in the leg? Is there numbness, tingling anywhere, right? And you need to then sort of explore motion. So everybody's looking for like the exercise for a herniated disc or for spinal stenosis or for a certain type of back pain. And really the best way to figure this out is to troubleshoot through it with me and on your own. So if you want to discover what's going to heal your back and you want to do it naturally, then movement is your medicine, right? So what you need to do is you need to explore motions and determine, does it make your pain, numbness or tingling, same, better, or worse, right? So if you're standing there and you feel some lower back pain, then what you're going to do is you're going to rate that or kind of take a snapshot of that in your brain. So, you know, the scale we use in medicine, I don't love it, but it works, is like 0 to 10, right? So 0 is nothing. You don't feel anything. Like, you're perfectly fine. No back pain. 10 is the worst back pain ever. Like, you're on your way to the emergency room, all right? So very severe. So rate it. So maybe you start with a 5 out of 10, let's just say, right? And you're standing there, and you feel it like right in the center of the back. Well, what you could do, right, is you could test this out. So what happens if I go towards 12 o'clock, right? So you would start, you would do just 1 rep. What happens, right? And you could just test 1 repetition of each, just to see where you feel stiff and where you notice discomfort, right? And then you're going to stand there, okay, now I kind of know that it's hard to bend forward or hard to bend back. And again, you're just going to get your baseline. So you're just going to do 1 rep of all directions. And you're just testing things to learn a little bit about what your back likes and doesn't like, right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to do like 10 to 15 repetitions. And you're going to see how you respond to motion, right? So if you're standing there and you have back pain, you're going to go ahead and bend forward 10 times. And as you're doing it, right, you only have 3 possible answers. It's either the same, it's getting better, or it's getting worse. If it's getting worse while you do it, then you stand up and it remains worse, well, you're going to stop that, right? And you're going to go a different direction. So that is likely maybe not the motion that you'll respond well to and not the motion that you need to go into to heal, okay? If you're doing it and it feels the same, meaning you do it over and over again and then you stand up and you feel exactly the same, well, then you need to tweak it. You can either tweak it, you can try more, so rather than 10 to 15, you could do 20, 30, 40 and see what happens the more you do it, or you could hold it in that position. So you can do more reps, or you could do longer holds. And then go back and say, is this same, better, or worse? And you might notice that then it's like, oh no, the more I do it, the worse it gets. And then it's more clear, right? So sometimes you have to test it out a little bit longer, a little bit further. And then, if as you're doing a certain motion, you're moving towards 12 o'clock, and it feels better the more you do it, then what I'd say is pick that as a direction to move in repeatedly throughout the day, right? So, move into that position. Maybe it's standing and reaching your toes throughout the day, or it's sitting and palming the floor, reaching down to the floor, and you do that 10, 15 times every couple hours, all right? Now, you're going to ask yourself then, once you find the direction, you're going to assess your 24 to 48 hour response. Meaning, how do you feel a day after, 2 days after? If you feel better, then keep going. If you feel worse, you know, you were doing the test and you're like, oh, 12 o'clock, I thought that was it. But now 2 days later, I'm worse. Well, then reverse it. All right, so if it's worse, you stop, and then you go the opposite. So then consider what happens when I go backwards 10 times, right? So the point is that before you make a decision about what motion might work best for you, test them all out. If as you're bending forward repeatedly, it feels good, and the more you do it, the better and better your back pain feels, or your thigh feels, or whatever, then keep going that direction. Then, that same day, go ahead and bend backwards repeatedly. And you might notice that the more you do it, the worse it gets. And then you have a clear, this makes me feel better, this makes me feel worse. Obviously, pick what makes you feel better. I don't care what motion that is, all right? So, get a drink here. Just get the concept that you can use motion. Now, obviously, there are motions we didn't talk about into the different corners. But many people respond to just one of these 4 motions, all right? If you have questions about what specifically can replicate these motions, right? Then comment below about comment below and let me know what motion, or maybe write 12 o'clock in the comments, or write 6 o'clock, or write 9 o'clock, or 3 o'clock, and let me know which motion makes your back pain or your leg pain feel better, and then we can go from there. But just get that movement is medicine, and if we can find a direction that seems to reduce your symptoms or make them better, And or if we can find something that makes your symptoms worse, we learn from that and we gain more information about your condition, and you're that much closer to finding natural relief. So find that which makes you better and do more of what makes you feel better and less of what makes you feel worse. So comment below with what makes you feel well. So what makes your back pain and or leg pain, numbness, tingling feel better? 12 o'clock, you can comment 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, or 3 o'clock. Disclaimer, if your whole foot is numb, and you have loss of bowel or bladder control, and you have significant weakness in the foot, please see, or you have such severe back pain that you just can't manage, please see either your local physical therapist or your family care physician for more specific advice. So comment below if you enjoyed this video and let me know what makes you feel better, what makes you feel worse. Thanks.